2-1 opening weekend. Everybody says that's always a good, ambitious goal, and you must be pleased to have accomplished that.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, we've picked it up a little bit. We've caught on to the ice a little bit better than we did last night. So it's a bonus. And, coming out of today with 2 wins is also really nice. So we're happy with it.
Right. It's still way too early to start looking around, but part of you must kind of take a look at the standings and just kind of see where they are, especially in relation to whom you play tomorrow, right? Is that on your mind, or is it just, here's another opponent, let's see how we stack up?
I mean, you always look at the teams that are undefeated, which teams are at the top, but, it's still really early, so try not to think too much.
But if I were to ask you about specific opponents when you play them, could you tell me?
No, I have no clue who even play tomorrow. Tell you the truth, I do not know.
and they say that's actually a very healthy way to plan things out, right? Because then you don't start thinking beyond the here and now.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, we have to play everybody, so we're going to play them at some point. I truly do not know who we play, so, I'll look after, when we get back to the hotel, I'll look tonight to see who we play tomorrow. But you know what? We have to play everybody, so it doesn't matter when.
Do you feel like a veteran at this?
No, every time I come here, I feel like it's, like the first time almost. I mean, it's nice to have been to a couple of slams, so we're playing on the arena ice. That's always really nice. But you know what? Every time you come, you still have those same nerves and the jitters and, the excitement and, all of that is still so fresh.
So that makes it fun.
Absolutely, yes.
Heather Nedohin skipping at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts and winning games. How does that feel?
Oh, it's a unique buzz. I must say I didn't expect to be back, but it feels really good. I've got a really fun, energetic team in front of me, and it's always a pleasure to have the opportunity to play with Shannon.
Well, and that's just it. Obviously I had the pleasure of seeing you and Shannon butt heads for so many years in Alberta, and I know there's a ton of respect between the two of you for what you got both accomplished. Playing with her now, are you gaining a new appreciation, and I'm sure vice versa?
It's when we played at provincials, and the Shannon that I butted heads with for umpteen years was out there doing her thing. I was like, and that's why it's hard to get out of Alberta. We've got some outstanding skips, but there's just something special about Shannon, both on and off the ice. She is such a great team player, and it's an enjoyable experience to be with her all the time. And today was fun, like playing lead, It's a magical moment, and I'm really just cherishing this because you just don't know when you'll ever be back. And I have to be truthful, I did not expect it this year at all, and I'm embracing it.
Right. Yeah, talk about coming back from playing lead this morning. When's the last time you played lead in a game?
Yeah. David and I have been practicing for the doubles event, and that definitely is, gets you in that routine of sweeping and such. So I felt comfortable sweeping, and, you dig back way back when I was a third. I enjoy to sweep. I like being a part of the front end aspect. It's fun. But man, respectful to those front enders, right? Like, it's not only hard physical work, but it is hotter than heck out there. And no matter how hard you work, you are just drenched.
What's this journey been like for you the last few days? I mean, there's been a lot of highs and lows and roller coasters, and you must be feeling awfully satisfied with the way this team has come up strong this opening weekend.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely stressful behind the bench. Way harder than playing. I have no control back there, but my role is just to keep the girls in good spirits and try and help them out as much as I can with my knowledge of the game and the ice reading and the paths and the weight of the ice. And it's been a little up and down. We've had some really great stretches and a couple of games that we haven't been at our best. That was one of them. We were lucky to probably sneak that win out tonight. So we'll get back and talk about that and find a way to come out tomorrow, because we're 2-1 and we're right in the mix so far.
Right, and obviously, coming out of the pre-qualifying like you did and having to readjust their sights, and that must have been a coaching challenge in and of itself.
Yeah, that was my biggest worry after first one was getting through pre-qualifying, but once we won that game, it was, I knew they would feel relief. and there'd be a bit of a letdown, and we had to step on the ice hour later and play PEI that night. So, I wanted to make sure that they knew that this was just the start, and I didn't let them. I was a lot of jokes, but I didn't let them look at their phones because they were just getting blasted with messages, obviously. So I wanted to make sure they stayed focused and that we got back out there, and I knew they would hit a wall, so I fed them lots of sugar during the game, and kept them going. And maybe it was a bit of a mental thing out there that night, but they played great. My biggest probably worry or fear going ahead is fatigue. We've already played 6 or 7 games, 7 games now. So my biggest fear is maybe hitting the wall on Wednesday. So we'll make sure to rest lots and maybe not do some extracurricular activities that we might have before. So keep them rested. The
good thing obviously is Carey's a veteran, and she knows. She's obviously won some very big games over the years at this event as well. So from that perspective, nothing's going to surprise her. And the rest of the team's been there too. So I imagine that makes your life a little bit easier. But still, this is the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, right? So that just adds to it.
Well, definitely. They've all been here, but they have me here, I think, for a reason too. And that's to guide them in maybe a different path before. They haven't, and we're hoping this is our most successful year that they've had, as a team. And I think they fully believe in me, which I'm really spoiled that they'll kind of listen to what I tell them.
A little bit of everything in that game.
Yeah, there sure was. It was not lacking intrigue.
But I guess at the end of the day, they don't ask how many. They don't ask how. They just ask how many. And making the draw for the win, that's got to be a huge boost.
Yeah, really. It was a bad 10, and we were rushing because we were tight on time and everything else. But other than that, we felt like we played a pretty good game. We just and Joss and Lainey made their shots great in 10, and then Amy and I messed it up, unfortunately. But lucky enough to give ourselves a 3-point lead so that you have the hammer in the extra, and was able to make one there.
You talked about breaking this event down in segments, and 2-1 from the opening weekend. That's always a very common goal, as everybody wants to go 2-1, if not better. But just assess where you guys are at and how you feel about where you're at.
We actually feel like we're playing pretty well. It's their games are battles. Teams are playing really well against us too, so it's been tight games. But we like how we're playing. Took us till about the third end to get that one figured out, but we played really well after that. So we like it. We'll try to give ourselves a little more time in 10 so that we don't have to rush through it quite so much. But other than that, we feel pretty good.
And if nothing else, you guys know how to grind.
For sure, and that's not a bad thing in the week either, to have to grind out some of those games. It makes you game tough. It gets you right into it mentally and all that stuff. So it's stressful at the time, but it benefits you long term lots of the time.